welcome to TKO Fight Sports. We are on site here at Resilience Training Centre doing a martial arts show today. So we've done a lot in the last few weeks around K1, kickboxing, Muay Thai, but today very much mixed martial arts. And on that note, I'm joined by one of Australia's best mixed martial artists, the great Spartan Vic Grujic. Vic, welcome back to TKO Fight Sports.
Fantastic to be back. Thank you very much, Josh, for the warm reception.
Very well deserved. So a little while since you've been with us on TKO Fight Sports. Yep. So before I get into the whole domestic mixed martial arts scene, what's been happening?
Well, training, teaching, you know, over the Christmas, New Year period, trying to drink as much beer as I possibly can, trying to keep my weight down. Helps with buoyancy when you're going out on the beach.
Is that advice for the young fighters out there, just to get loaded over Christmas?
No. Look, I'm 43 years old now, so, you know, I can kind of do my thing and waddle off into the sunset, you know, if I so choose. But other than that, you know, I've got a fantastic group over at our UFC gym in Fountain Gate that I train jiu-jitsu most nights of the week, and I've got a small group that I do a bit of personal MMA training and coaching and sparring and keep myself fit and healthy, and training with my coaches, Carlos Vieira, jiu-jitsu most days of the week when I can, and Christian Enna, my boxing coach, and just trying to stay fit and healthy for a young 43-year-old.
Mate, you look fantastic for 43.
It's the hair.
And the hair is just sublime.
I actually spent like about a good 5-6 minutes on it today, so doing good.
I want to talk about UFC Auckland. So we're going to have Dan Kelly come on shortly and talk to us about the Australian contingent on that card. So we'll leave that for Dan. But I want to talk about the main event. So Dan Hooker took on Paul Felder, 5-round lightweight battle. It was a ripper, man. Like, Dan Hooker was AFC lightweight champion, and I watched him fight at that stage, and he always had a granite chin. He was very high output, was entertaining. He's, I think, top 5 ranked now, or top 6 ranked now, but I want to get your thoughts on that fight. Razor close decision, which I think was reasonable. But, man, did you enjoy it as much as I did?
Man, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time watching that fight. I've known Dan since he was in the UFC. Well, we fought in the same show in Auckland, 2014.
Yes.
But he's one of those guys that you'd kind of look at him and you wouldn't think he's as talented as what he is. You know, he's amazing footwork, good angles, his timing's impeccable. You know, just every time that Felder would come through, just the use of the jab and just the way he'd throw those, every punch just razor sharp with laser straight, just boom, boom, right down the center. And he'd throw up that knee on occasion every time, you know, and he caught Ross Pearson with that a couple of years back.
But I reckon he went back to basics. I remember what was my first MMA gym called? Whatever it was called.
That's a good plug. Yeah. Thanks, Redemption.
It was something else, but I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, the first sort of combo we were taught was the inside leg kick into the straight left hand.
Oh yeah.
So it was like bang and then bang. And I reckon, and I was actually
inside leg straight left. Is that from a southpaw?
From a southpaw, that's right.
Okay.
So I reckon Dan did it.
From an orthodox?
No, from southpaw.
Okay, just testing.
I reckon he did it. Hey, mate, I know my stuff.
We're just going to see what Redemption's teaching, that's all.
So Dan went southpaw a number of times.
Yeah.
Used the inside leg kick with the straight left. And I reckon every time it just snapped Felder's head back. Basic combo, but executed so well.
But then Felder started catching on to that, and you could see that he was starting to close the distance every time Dan would continue to throw those low leg kicks. And that's where he started clipping him. You know, you could see that, especially by the 3rd round, Dan had to try to readjust. But, man, Felder just turned up the heat in that 3rd round, didn't he? First 2 rounds clearly were Daniel Hooker. Amazing, you know, and the guys just freaking freakish timing. But that's with the experience of somebody like Paul Felder to kind of sense that timing and just try to find a way to negate that. And he did. He did an amazing job. It was so good. What an amazing fight.
Sorry, Sensei Josh Pekistain. It was Precision Mixed Martial Arts Academy in Tullamarine, and you're an excellent trainer, and I love my time.
Oh, you remembered, did you?
Hey, man, I got a lot of pressure on me. There's a lot of cameras and lights and stuff. Question without notice. So I reckon Hooker's 5 ranked. So you've got Khabib at 1. Oh, champion, sorry. Then you've got Tony Ferguson. So they're not an option right now. You've got Connor, so not an option right now.
Yep.
Then you've got Dustin Poirier, and you've got Justin Gaethje. So
that's
Dan
who
Hooker basically said, let's go either of. Which one you want, and can Hooker, honestly, compete with that top 5 echelon?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. He can most definitely compete. I'd like to see him, you know, get up to some of those 2 bigger names that we mentioned at the start right there. But the fight with Gaethje's, you know, it's obviously something that's good thing for someone like Hooker to rather take his time and work his way up. But Dan's got all the goods, man. You know, his ground game's fantastic. You know, his grappling's amazing. You know, his striking's just nuts. His timing's
Yeah.
precise.
And he can take, I reckon he likes to take of his
Takes a
own blood, man. Like when he
bloody
gets cut up,
beating.
he just starts going even further. So
No, I didn't really catch much of the after-fight hoo-ha. With the side of his face, what had happened there? Was that broken or just swelling? Because that thing was just out here.
there was no confirmation during that, but he definitely has some contusions and possibly some internal damage there.
Because you could even see that he started to try to engage a bit more with the clinch and try to go for takedowns just to avoid that damage.
Yeah.
And the way that Paul was throwing those shots, that would be heavy shots, and you wouldn't want to sit there and take too much of those.
Seasoned fighter, and to Paul Felder as well, who I guess gave some level of discussion around possible retirement. If that is the case, then we congratulate you on an excellent career and some hugely entertaining fights. So, well done, Paul.
Just to touch on that too, like I watched the fight and I'd actually watched it just last night. So to have heard a lot of what was said post-fight and then to watch it, I actually felt that man right in the chest too, because I'd spent a lot of time away from my family. Most of during. Let me start again. So during the Ultimate Fight, I was over in Canada for 7 weeks, came back and then went over to San Diego for most of 2014. Camps, come back, and every time I'd have to leave, I'd leave my wife and my 3 children behind, and it just tears you apart, and it just really distracts you from your whole fight camp and the fight and everything, But credit to Paul, he just used that as a motivation tool throughout the fight. And then he had Duke Rufus screaming in his corner there, to just keep propping him up, this is what you're doing it for, So, look, personally, I think that Paul but could have a couple more, up his sleeve. If he can overcome that emotional.
And time could be the greatest survivor here. He goes home, spends some time with the family, comes back and throws down again. I want to do a domestic mixed martial arts wrap very quickly. So Joel Tepesveri up there in Coolum. Coastal Combat again, packed that joint. I don't know how he does it, but they hang off the rafters in Coolum and he puts on excellent cards. 2 fights in particular. So amateur lightweight title, Bradford Cowie was the champion, defending against Michael T-Pow, and I'm sorry if I got that wrong, but Michael T-Pow is what I'm going with. Really good fight. Unfortunately, unfortunately for Brad, lost his title, Michael, by submission in round 1. So huge props, and that boy's going to have a major pro career when he gets started. But more importantly, I want to talk about the featherweight title fight. Was Rodolfo Marquez, who you know very well, Justin Van Heerden, who again has sublime skills and huge potential. Justin got the nod there, close decision. Rodolfo not happy with it. Probably see a rematch sometime in the future. But Vic, I wanted to pick your brain. You know Rodolfo very well, seasoned, experienced. He's done some amazing things. What would Rodolfo be going through right now, given that he's lost the title fight to a lesser experienced opponent? So where does Rodolfo go from here, do you think?
I don't know, goes back to the drawing board, or just decides he's just going to jump back on a horse and jump onto the next thing that comes along, or again going back to on an individual basis, what he's thinking, what he's feeling. I can't really predict or say what's going through his mind. Everybody can give a fighter advice. This is what you should do, or have you thought about this or that? But in the back of our mind, I haven't fought for a few years myself. 43 years old, and I'm like, I do want to get back in. I really do. So for Rodolfo, he's fought and trained for many, many years, and nice guy, good family man. So who knows? See where he goes.
Congratulations again to Joel and the team. Coastal Combat, massive success, and they will be back later this year with another instalment. I have some breaking news for you though. So I have an exclusive for TKO Fight Sports. The Australian Fighting Championship will be back on April 26. Looking at a 14-fight card right now, barring the obvious injury that will come up, no doubt. There'll be 2 title fights on that card, and exclusively for TKO Fight Sports, we're going to release them right now. So first one is an absolute beauty, featherweight. Drum roll, please. Producer gets in the background. So featherweight title, we're going to have Dan Jones from Western Australia taking on Raja Shippen with the vacant strap on the line that was vacated by the great Alex Volkanovski, who's now the UFC featherweight champion. So Raja and Dan are going to get it done April 26th for the featherweight title. Dan undefeated. Raja has
come off a good win just recently too.
And those skills, the spinning back elbows, that is an absolute beauty on paper. So looking forward to that one. Then the bantamweight title fight, again, so much going into this. We have Sammy Hibbard out of Victoria taking on Ben Watson out of New South Wales. Again, 2 experienced guys, lots of wins on their records, very complementary styles, are going to bang it out for the bantamweight title. Full card will be released in the next week. Tickets will also go on sale, and a pretty huge main event boiling up in the background as we speak. So the AFC is well and truly back.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Don't miss out on that one.
Awesome.
I'm going to finish up the first segment, though, with our usual Wimp to Warrior update. John DiMacaulay was on earlier, Chris Bradford on earlier this year, and I broke the news to them that our producer, the great Steve Howard, is participating in Wimp to Warrior. I'm going to let that sit first. So that's how I'm flicking
AKA
off.
Tyson Fury. Is this the same Steve
AKA
Howard?
the string bean,
The
Steve
string
Howard.
bean.
Doing Wimp to
I've
Warrior.
heard that he's got some really good hands.
You heard
and I'm
wrong.
hearing, wait, no.
You heard
oh, it's
wrong.
his grappling that's
No, you heard
amazing.
wrong too.
No, I've heard
Steve's got some great banter. He's got some
That's actually a pretty good tool.
Ricardo Mayorga type banter.
Wow.
Can he back it up? We'll soon find out. But
He can build quite a big following with that, you know what I mean? But then when he gets into the cage, he's got to,
well, you
prove
don't
it.
know this, but Steve actually tattooed TKO Fight Sports on the bottom of his feet. So when he gets slapped, the camera looks at the feet and it's got TK. So you can't buy that sort of promotion. So
Nice, this is
hallelujah.
amazing. Can't wait.
The update for the old string bean is he's gone through the boxing and the handwork with Ben Sassoli. The verdict was a lot of work to go. He's gone through some of the jits and grappling as well with Sarah Collins. The verdict was a lot of work to go. He spent a bit of time this week with Duke Didier, Dan Kelly, Ben Sassoli again. The verdict is a shitload of work to go.
I think you'll go all right because from what I hear, he's getting up at like 2:30 in the morning to go for like 5K runs.
I heard
and then by the time quarter past one.
Yeah, quarter past. I'm already sleeping at Resilience at the moment, so he's all over.
I heard he's
the
not
old
even getting
string
any
bean.
sleep.
Mate, I've heard like the sponsors are already lining up. Like I know he's had the old shave done, he's got the spray tan done. Like we are looking here at the most marketable Wimp to Warrior contestant of all time. Most of that's actually true as well for the record. But look, keep an eye on Steve's video blogs on the TKO Fight Sports page. As John DiMacaulay said to me a few weeks ago, at least he's doing it and we're sitting here bagging him about it. But we do it because we love you, Steve. And we're very proud of your journey so far. We're excited for your
100%.
cage debut sometime in the near future. The whole TKO's team will be there. We'll be broadcasting live if we can. We'll be sitting there with Steve. We're going to walk him to the corner if we can, let the banners out, and we support him and get behind him as well.
I'll be sitting there fanning him the whole time.
Oh, mate, he won't need it. It's going to be 15 seconds. Bang, bang,
pop.
see you later.
Especially that
Done
reach, just
and
get pop from across the cage.
The call-out speech afterwards, I reckon he's around the 89 to 95 keg, so he'll call out. Maybe Ricky, that we'll speak to shortly, could be a big deal. AFC want to do a heavyweight title fight by the end of the year, so could be Steve Howard and Ricky. Steve getting
I kind of
destroyed in that
think
one.
his ears must be burning at this point. I think we've given him enough. Hang on, a little bit more, go.
No. With all honesty, follow the video blogs. It's really entertaining. It does show the journey
We love
of
you,
Steve through
Steve.
Winter
We
Warrior,
love you,
and we're
mate.
very proud of him. We're going to be back very shortly with Dan Kelly. We've got Ben Sassoli coming on today. We've got Ricky coming on, so very excited. Please ensure that you log on to our socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have a Patreon page as well. The sponsors are coming along and we're getting great traction on this show and a lot of excitement and we're getting a lot of energy coming out of it, but it only works with sponsors and support. So log on, like the pages, hit up YouTube, subscribe. Any sponsors out there, please get behind us.
100%.
As I said earlier, we're live at Resilience right now. We'll come out to any gym. We'll do this. We'll prep for fights. You saw us at Hardcore. You saw us at Prince Promotions. There was some really great feedback from that. So if you want to get involved, please hit up our producer, Steve Howard, and get on board the TKO freight train in 2020.